The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, Smash Masters Derby Parts, Derby Inc. Magazine, Live It, Breathe It, Be It, Derby Inc. The 2014 Bash for Cats, May 24th and 25th, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. And the Keystone National, a Bo Lockwood Motorsports production, July 19th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good day, welcome to episode number 22 of the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast. You see some new graphics there, May 24th, 25th, 2014, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. We're going to be there. We got Steve Bucknam joining us on the Skype hotline. There's Steve. He did not make it all the way to the studio. He's going to be from home. We got Josh Decker back here in studio, and then Brian Tompkins says, well, what is percolating in the background? Josh just got all excited. Steve, what are you doing over there? Is there something going on?
Me? I don't know.
No? All right. Well,
I'm sitting in my house with wedding pictures behind me.
Maybe maybe that was.
Nah, I heard it sounded like bubbling water.
There was the heavens smiling on Josh there for a minute.
Hey,
bubbling water.
Yeah, that was a little different.
You might like Niagara Falls, right?
Exactly.
Just checking.
Wow.
Don't get it.
Oh, Steve's all breaking.
Yeah,
up.
Steve's breaking up terrible. What's going on over there?
I don't know. I can't help you.
I know. We're playing from behind on this one this week.
There's going to be shenanigans.
Shenanigans. There was shenanigans declared, wasn't there? Mike Brown working on your car in that picture. Was that something or what?
Mike Brown's awesome. Wagner got that whole group got to hang out with him, and I guess of course Mike's teaching him some stuff, and is like, man, I'm jealous right now.
He's sitting there with a notebook and a frame, and I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, dude, I would have loved to have been in there and to listen to what was going on in that room, but I'll take my sign getting signed. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
And you still planning on running that sign now, or is that going to get framed?
Oh, definitely framing it. Just going to put it right in the garage. It'll be right in my trophy showcase.
You're the only one at Team FTS that doesn't have a sign on. Why? Well, it was signed.
I don't want to break it.
That's one of those cool things. You can't risk it.
Nope.
No, but when you got guys like seriously as good as Mike Brown talking, you better listen.
Yeah.
But when he comes over to your garage, how cool would that be? You get to pick his brain. I mean, I would have loved to have been there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have flown out for that. Wagner, thanks for calling me.
He was afraid you'd bring that twisted up drive shaft that he gave you.
Yeah, I know, he can have it back. I know we got a whole bunch of people listening live today. I don't know if our live room is full or not, but I have 8 people that just said that they're watching live on the big screen.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
I'm glad they're watching. Well, they're getting a big dose of you.
It's Gully. It's just our usuals.
Well, best wishes out to him, boy.
Gully just got fined $6,500 for all the cars in his yard. He's been fighting with his town for a long time. So, yeah, he's actually going through some tough stuff with that. So, what better to get you off the derbying than talking derby?
Yeah, well, we're getting ready for a road trip here. Going to be taking off to Razorback Rumble 2014.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Did I watch the YouTube videos of it? Man, there's some nasty cars down there.
Yeah,
and the arena is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go down there. And I'm going to have money in my pocket this time.
Got your taxes back? Did you back?
Not yet. No, dude, I'm doing good before tax time.
Good for you.
Wow.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be down there with DerbyTees.tv. They've got the pay-per-view order stuff up in full swing. So jump on DerbyTees.tv, grab a hold of that, and you'll be able to watch us for 2 days. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the cameras working. All the crates are loaded. All the crates have crates inside them, so that all the crates have crates inside them, and so everything should be safe. I know. We had to spare a few moments off of last week's show. We got Steve. You right there? Have I lost you, Steve?
I'm here for the moment. I'm going to try to switch headphones, see if it works a little better.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll catch up with you here in a minute then.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. So
the question is,
he's going to regroup.
The question is to Mr. Decker, you buying GM parts at the Razorback, or you buying Mopar parts?
That is between me and the vendors. But
Wow.
I'll say this, I've been getting some heat lately because Decker's been changing his mind. And, I have to admit there has been some things I've witnessed and saw that really opened my eyes to maybe everything I thought wasn't right, So, I don't know. I'm kind of in a transitional stage in my derby career now.
I saw you getting beat up a little bit online, and And what I kind of equate it to is like in racing, you know, when one chassis starts winning, you got to go, you know, and there's a reason that everybody out west is running Fords and GMs.
And it's true, Brian. And it's not just there. It's like now we've gone north, we've gone south, we've gone, and, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I think Chryslers have their spot. In our area, they're actually still great. I'm not even knocking that. They're still very competitive.
Yep.
But it is the future of Derby, and if I want to stay in Derby, I might need to evolve, and that's what I'm trying to do right now is
Absolutely.
And you know what? I got to be honest. Probably the next year or two for me is going to be a bunch of garbage runs. But I want to my eyes are so open right now. Yeah, it's like, man, I'm so excited to like this new level of derbying I learned about. And I know everyone's going to say, you suck, you're not going to be able to get. I understand that. But I got to try.
Absolutely.
I want to try.
Got to chase the dream, man.
I just want to chase it.
I don't blame you.
The stuff out there that I've witnessed is just so awesome. It's just, I was like closed on derbying, and now like my.
It's almost like your mind has been expanded.
You know, the only way to progress is to try something new.
Absolutely.
You can't stay stuck in your ways all the time, you know? And
Steve, that was exactly me. I've been stuck in my ways for at least 4 years now. I've been building all my cars the same. Because it's like, oh no, I know them. Yeah, you know them, but you ain't winning with them. So it's time to, it's time to upgrade. It's time to change, and I'm going to try that. I guess
and that's the thing. I mean, if you decide that you're going to go, farther to the west and run some shows, you're going to have to take a Ford or a GM. So why not start building now? And
yeah, I'm not there yet.
Well, we're gonna be making the trip west. I mean, we're gonna be headed to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Joining us on the line now, DerbyParts.com hotline, Tory Schutte, the promoter of Razorback Rumble. Tory, welcome to the program again. How are things going in terms of preparing for Razorback?
Real good, guys. Thanks for having me on, first of all. Just looking forward to heading south. I've had enough of this Wisconsin winter. I head down to Arkansas. They're expecting 70 degrees down there.
Nice.
So that's the main thing I'm looking for down there is some nice weather for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Josh has been boning up, and we've all been doing our homework and getting ready to go here for Razorback. We're real excited about being able to play along with DerbyTees.tv and their pay-per-view program. How's everything going on your side in terms of getting ready to go? Is from here on out, is it just cruise control, or is there still a lot of work to be done?
There's still work to be done, but I've been doing this long enough that there's nothing that really is a surprise. It's all kind of automatic now. I've got all my systems in place. I'm going on my 7th year here, and this is the first year by myself now. And after David Gard left, he helped me build a hell of an empire with Derby Icons. But I'm doing it myself now. My wife's really stepped in and done a big role. The only thing I got to do is finish up the trophies. We're putting some beautiful touches on some of the best trophies that I've ever seen or ever done myself. So we got some really nice, thick marble cups for the top Arkansas icon and one for the top future icon. And, of course, the $10,000 cup for the Southern champion is going to be crowned here.
Nice.
Very nice.
What part of the card are you looking for? I mean, it's a busy 2 days. You got tons of stuff going on. What part of the card are you looking forward to the most?
What part? Just seeing a lot of guys that I haven't seen in 6 months. I haven't seen anybody since our last show in November, and just looking forward to seeing a lot of the guys that I haven't seen in quite a while is my favorite part. Is always getting together with all the icons and seeing their builds and seeing the old crew again. We've become such a big family in Derby Icon events. It's every time we get around, everybody knows each other. It's nice.
We're really excited to see Jimmy Johnson run. We're going to be catching up with him a little bit later on. We had the chance to see him last November at Blizzard Bash. This is going to be the first time I think he's run, as far as I know, since then.
I think so.
And we're really looking forward to that. That team aspect. Is there any early implications of what you're going to be expecting to see?
I would say it's always the usual suspects. We're definitely happy to have Jimmy Johnson back. One hell of a builder, one hell of a driver, and when he needs to, he can put on a show, just like the last guest you had on there, Pete Hansen, same way. Type of guy that'll turn it up when he don't lay there and take it, as they say. He gets on top and takes control once in a while. So
definitely,
it's nice to see drivers like that. I'm looking forward to watching Jimmy run with us again.
Definitely.
You said nothing surprises you anymore in terms of putting these together, having done it 7 times over now. Is there anything that you get on the other side of it? It doesn't surprise you as much as it so much wears you out. You get tired of answering this question over and over again. Is there a grind part of it that wears on you?
Actually, no. I love Demolition Derby first and foremost before anything else. So anytime I'm talking Derby and anytime I'm at a Derby, it's all good. I truly love what I do for a living now. it's the greatest job in the world. So now nothing gets to be a grind. As long as I'm talking Derby, I'm happy, good to go. So some of this, normal crap, and whining about sandbagging, whining about this guy's got a tougher bill, or whining that this guy spent more money than you. I guess if anything, and we talked about it last time, that's the only thing that gets to be a grind.
Yeah, sure.
There's going to be sandbagging, there's going to be hard hit, and there's going to be guys that built the harder cars. I remember my first Derby too, I guess. So that's the only thing that gets to be a grind, I guess.
Tory, is it hard to kind of stay neutral? I mean, obviously you're a giant Derby fan, but I mean, when you have to be a judge and a promoter and a flagman, do you ever catch yourself just being a fan first and foremost and watching, going, damn, this is a hell of a show, and then go, oh wait, I'm supposed to be, official. I mean, that's got to be hard sometimes. I mean, like the caliber builders and drivers, that you have at your shows. I mean, at times it's got to be hard to not become a fan, maybe a little more than you should be. Or I mean, I just thought maybe that'd be a little tough.
Yeah, and that's probably the one thing I'm guilty of is I'm too nice a guy, and I love Derby, and I stand on that wall and watch some of these big crunches or hear a motor, and my hair stands up on my head. I mean, it's just I get caught in the moment all the time. I sometimes I can't help but show my enthusiasm when guys are really getting it and stuff, and it's pretty obvious. As far as the flagging and officiating, I've stepped away from that 100%. I can't do that role and be the nice guy promoter trying to get everybody to come run my show. So I stepped out of that, and I'm going to let those guys make the call, whatever call. And you think of the star-studded cast we got. We got Greg Skinny Elzer, as Skinny's my main tech. You got Mike Tix, Scott Zizelman, Coast, Vince Alivius, my brother Ryan, and my brother-in-law Darren. Those 6 guys right there. If they can't make a call in Demolition Derby, then I don't know who can. All my trust. I'm putting all my trust in those guys on the track, in the inspection line, waving the flags and doing whatever they got to do. At some point, you got to step back and take on that leadership role and let the guys just roll with it. And I've struggled with that in the past, but I'm actually going to sign a contract with my guys, and I've told them I'll give them a $5,000 check if I override anything they do, because I got the studs now there in the inspection line. They know what they're doing, and I'm going to step out of it.
That's cool.
But it's nice to see a promoter that has passion. I'd much rather have a promoter that has passion, is involved in listening and watching, and because there's so many promoters out there that really seem like they're just trying to get it over with, and they don't really care about what's going on. And
pay me, get the show done, and get me out of here.
I'm all for a guy, all for Derby.
Yeah, definitely.
I always made that pledge to every county fair and every driver that runs any of my fairs. I will never leave the track. I'll always be the last person leaving, the last person picking up garbage 3 days later, or just at a county fair, the last guy making sure that guy gets loaded on his trailer. That's my pledge that I make to him, and that's what I'll always do. I'll be the last guy to leave. I'm in no hurry. I'm retired now, so.
Must be nice.
And I'll tell you right now, in Arkansas, I ain't going to be in any hurry to get back to Wisconsin. It's 14 degrees here today, and it's a real heat spell.
Go on, Steve.
How difficult is it, Tory, to kind of logistically handle all the different aspects of it? You have to worry about the vendors and drivers coming in and people that want to camp and so forth.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a nightmare. My biggest thing is logistics of getting, and we have to do pit concessions in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I've got, a staff of 12 people, so between my coach and between my Suburban filled with people and other people dragging campers down there. I mean, I got to get one hell of a staff from Wisconsin down there. So the logistics of getting hotels for those guys and making sure they're all down there is my only real nightmare getting there.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, when when we're doing shows at home, all these different shows, you always kind of know who's going to be there, but at the same time, you never really know for sure who's going to be there. And when you see a particular car, you recognize the car number, or you know that car was around, and it ends up pulling through the gate, you kind of still get excited. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still get excited when I see, somebody popular like Josh Decker pulling into the pits at a show that I was expecting him to be at. Right. Do you still, you're talking about that fan perspective. Do you still get excited when you see somebody that you maybe thought was on the fence or didn't know they were necessarily coming to your show when they pull up to the gate and they pull into the line?
Yeah, I mean, I do pre-entry and stuff, but a lot of guys, like you said, will just show up last minute, and you're like, hey, glad to have you, but what a surprise, for sure. And for the fans, I used to release our list and stuff like that and let everybody know when they were coming. Hell, they would know what heat they were in 3 months in advance. It got to be so political. The guys were cutting deals and everything
Exactly.
else. You know,
Exactly.
you don't hit me and I won't hit anybody was the deal. You know?
I can see that happening though.
Absolutely.
If you give it out too early, I could definitely see
You know,
that.
they never come out and say that, but why don't they? You know?
Yeah.
You don't hit me and I won't hit anybody. That's the number one deal cut in Demolition Derby. So
I've done it a bunch. That's
awesome.
funny. That's very funny.
Arkansas, it's going to be like this, you know, quite a difference because there's a lot of people coming from Ohio that nobody even knows coming. There's a lot of people coming from Missouri and Tennessee and Wisconsin and Minnesota. You know, we're going to get a real nice mixed bag of people at this show. So I like to keep that tight-lipped, you know, just so people don't know who's coming. And when they show up, they're like, "Oh, I didn't expect that. I didn't plan
Exciting.
for that."
Yeah.
That
Is-
makes it better.
I mean, how much of a wild card is that going to be? Because you've got a lot of different driving styles come into that show now.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And there's a lot of people that, you know, and I call it the mafia mentality. There's a lot of guys that have all their hookups and all their guys that they run with year after year. And that mafioso is kind of getting torn up now, you know.
Yes, it is.
Outsiders coming from outside of this area that are really coming in force and saying, "Hey, we're the new sheriff in town." So I'm looking forward to some of that happening and changing the torch kind of deal.
I know we are.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get down there. We can just leave tonight.
And I tell you one thing: this Arkansas event, I don't know what it is, but it is literally 3 times the speed of Metal Mayhem. The stadium's huge. You know, it seats 10,000 people. The killer track, fast surface, but the guys just drive really, really hard down there. I mean, Bobby Whitaker was stroking people. Marvin Neal was stroking people. I've never given a cup to anybody down there that I didn't say, "Wow, you earned that shit."
Right. That's awesome.
That's great.
I've watched some YouTube videos and just awesome. I mean, just the in-car cameras. The track looks awesome. The lighting there is great. Just like you said, every aspect there is like, boy, that looks like a fun derby. Real fun.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I mean, that's another one where your hair stands up on end because these guys just get it from the very beginning. I mean, I walk the track sometimes and I'm looking for somebody to get on, and I have a hard time finding somebody.
That's cool,
awesome.
man. That's awesome.
That's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, definitely good thing to go on.
When
Then, like you said earlier, it's nice to sit back and go, and, "Hey, I'm a fan of Derby, and let's just watch the show. These guys are doing a good job.
Absolutely.
We don't have to sit here and yell and scream at them. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Leave them be."
Exactly.
When they're screwing around, you got to jump on them, and then our job becomes a job, you know?
Now, Tory, probably the most important question: who's in charge of bringing your beer? And are you going to have enough for the weekend? Or you're going to have to restock?
Yeah, we'll have plenty. I'm currently on the wagon, but I think we might fall off the wagon this weekend.
I was going to say, I've read some stories of you, possibly imbibing in a beverage or two at a derby. So, I'm just looking out for a brother.
That's funny.
wow,
One excuse for being on the wagon right now, and that's called 2 weeks in Cancun and all inclusive.
Right. Right.
So you're hoping your liver is regenerating as we speak then.
It was yelling at me. I had to give it a break.
That's great. Good for you. You've earned it.
So,
sometimes you just drink water to give your liver a surprise, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying? Wow, Brian.
I'm just, I've only been on one road trip for a derby with you guys, and we had 3-4 pops that night, and it just seems like it's a good get together. A bunch of
Enough.
derby guys are just
Getting back to the Demolition Derby
cool
stuff.
guys.
Getting back to this. With the way that the Derby landscape has evolved, how has Arkansas been affected? I mean, you look at different areas, they gravitate towards one build style or another. You've got youth movements in different parts of the country. You've got the guys that have been around forever selling out, which has been sort of universal. What would have been the biggest challenges about keeping a well-attended derby going for 7 years the way that you have with Razorback in that neck of the woods?
They got a great fan base down in the Hot Springs area. Their fan base is unbelievable. There are tons of derby nuts down there. They claim to have the longest-running demolition derby in the United States. They've got records going back way before Islip Raceway or anything like that.
Wow.
They have a huge fan base there. They hear Demolition Derby and they come running, and now they hear Derby Icons and they really come running. They love our shows down there. We've always pushed the pace and gave them one hell of a show down there, and so they got a great fan base, and we keep tapping into it. And this year we're actually going back and helping them out with their county fair as well. So we're doing the Garland County Fair.
It's funny you should bring up the history of Demolition Derby. Steve Bucknam's grandfather's grandfather smashed.
Smashed. Arizona.
No, no. This is way back. This is actually the where Demolition Derby was created. It was Steve Bucknam, senior, way back. He smashed the chariot that Jesus learned to drive in. It was actually.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Did he win the show though?
Ask him, he'll tell you. Just ask him, he'll tell you.
That's funny. Hey Tori, how many vehicles do you think will get crushed this weekend? How many do you expect to be there?
We've always been over 100 at every one of our large shows, and we'll be right at 100, if not many more. So we'll probably have 60 in the the 80s class. Probably have another 30 or 40 in a dozen compacts or so. So we'll be right up at 100 cars this weekend.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And back to the Arkansas build, it's amazing to watch these guys. And literally, this is our fourth year going back with only 3 derbies. These guys went from really not knowing much about building, besides plate and weld and cheat, to learn how to build good cars and good hard cars. Those Arkansas guys, they have jumped by leaps and bounds, and they admit it. Hey, running your shows has really helped us out and stepped up our game. We're dominating our local scene now, which is great to hear. And we do an extra prize for those guys too. We have $1,000 for the highest place in Arkansas driver, so we throw a little incentive in there for them too.
That's cool.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask that question. Is when you go to an area that maybe isn't as progressed, do they catch up really quick, or do they sit back and have issues? But no, you're saying they virtually catch up really quick.
Real quick. And there's some guys that just said, hey, wow, I'm outclassed without a doubt.
Sure.
We're kind of a product of our own success with Derby Icons. So there's guys that, get outdone pretty quick, but then there's other guys that say, hey, I'm coming back, I'm learning, I'm going to learn to build my car harder and faster, and I'm back again the next year. The Moore brothers are some that come to mind. They just come back every year harder and harder,
Well, that's one of those things. I think, anybody that's really into the sport, you get your ass kicked once, and if you're into it, you go, yeah, that's not going to happen again. And every year you work to get better until you're the one that's dishing some of it out. And that's how you get better. Guys, run different big shows, and that's the only way you get better is running against the best.
Not only,
or you do what Josh Decker did and just pair up with a Crash Course podcast and get people to build you cars.
Well, if that's a route, if we could go that route, I'd go that route, of course.
Hey, do you have a deal for Metal Mayhem yet, or are we still waiting on that?
No, but besides that, you for having guys build if they learn, the more you learn, the more you also want to get better, because besides just learning more, then it's like, man, I got to build a car because I want to try that, and then I want to try that. I don't want to try. That's where I'm at right now. I just want to try 100 different things. I'm not gonna have time.
You'll have time.
Yeah, and that's the thing too down there. Those guys are just the true derby guys, the true guys of the sport. They want to get harder. They want to get better. They want to get the guys that really aren't cut out to be demolition derby drivers, because it takes a special sort. Beat it out along the way.
Absolutely.
So true.
Tori, do you find it hard to balance the desire to build the hype for the show, so to speak, by letting people know who's coming, or or like you said, you don't like to show your list because people make deals? Was that a hard choice for you to make, or have you found other ways to build that hype rather than just releasing names?
Yeah, you can post on Facebook and stuff like that and reach your fans, but to be honest with you, 95% of them know we're going to come back every year. They come no matter what. They're not on WeCrash. They're not on Facebook. They're not friends with me. So that 90% of what they call the casual derby enthusiasts have no idea what's going on online, or know what lists are or anything else, or don't even know who Toby Hiley is or a Jimmy Johnson. They don't even know those names, so they're not as into it as you would think.
I believe that.
So I don't think that 90% of my fans even care about a list or care who's driving. They just want to watch cars get wrecked. It's as simple as that.
Good cars get wrecked.
It's a great answer.
That's what we're going for.
Definitely.
We want to see stuff turned inside out.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear some motors inside that place. Man, I can't wait. I'm excited.
It's deafening. Bring earplugs. It is absolutely deafening. They're so loud when they hit the track.
Perfect.
Josh
the feature with 20, 30, 40 cars out there. It's deafening. Absolutely deafening. It blows you away.
At Blizzard Bash, I tried going no earplugs for I think it was the first 2 or 3 team events, and it's like, no, I got to put earplugs in.
I kept these on.
I had to go put earplugs in. It was really piercing. It was awesome. Awesome.
We got a whole jar going with us.
Perfect.
Because I figured they're going to get lost, or we're maybe going to be able to sell them for snack money.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm to double down on that mason jar sipping water I asked them to bring
boy.
for me. Then.
Sipping water? I haven't heard it called sipping water before.
Jar sipping water.
Perfect.
Right off.
I'm going to bring some with me myself, sir. So I'll catch up with you.
Yeah, that wagon's already got a loose wheel, doesn't it?
That's funny.
I mean, is there anybody else that you want to, before we let you go here, anybody else you want to thank or make mention of, or anything else we need to know before we get to this weekend, because Friday's coming fast?
No, I just want to, if there's any drivers out there listening, or they know anybody out there in the bar or out there in the garage building their cars, just tell them thanks for all their efforts, and look forward to seeing all the icons this weekend. It's going to be a great show.
We're looking forward to it. We're already planning out when we're going to leave so that we can make it in time for to get everything set up and ready to go on Friday. We're looking forward to it. I know Mark and everybody over there with DerbyTees.tv is real excited about it, and hopefully everybody that's going to, if you can't make it to Hot Springs, Arkansas, at least you'll be able to watch it at home.
Yeah, how awesome is that?
There, it's beautiful weather, beautiful facility. This facility is honest the best demolition derby facility I've seen in the entire nation. I've been everywhere in the nation. It is like a bunch of derby guys sat around and drew it up on a bar napkin over some beers and said, this would be really cool to build. And these guys did it. It's like a $9.3 million facility dedicated to demolition derby and demolition derby only. It's its sole purpose. It's not a horse track. It's not
That's awesome.
Not a concert venue. This track in Arkansas was built by demolition derby guys for demolition derby.
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't realize it was purpose built like that.
That is cool.
I thought it was repurposed having the derbies. That's cool.
That is very cool.
It is absolutely built from the beginning as a demolition derby facility. That's their sole purpose for it. And they've had jackal in there. They got monster trucks and rock crawlers, and they do some other stuff in the facility, but its number one sole purpose was for demolition derby. You got to love it.
Well, thanks for the invite, sir. I can't wait to get down there. I can't wait.
We're looking forward to it. We sure appreciate you coming and hanging out with us and telling us a little bit more about Razorback. I know we've all learned something about it, and it's only adding to the anticipation for Friday. We're looking at getting out of here and seeing some of the 70-degree weather on top of everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very nice. Well, I better get back to building these trophies. I'll post some pictures up on Facebook tonight, but they're literally the most killer trophies I've ever put together for sure. So
awesome.
Stay down there. Drive safe.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye now. There goes Tory Schutte, promoter Razorback Rumble, March 7th and 8th, 2014, Hot Springs, Arkansas. You can't have a name named Hot Springs and not be a demolition derby town. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, I got to prove. Josh Buell just sent me a message, which I didn't realize, but Chris Marquardt has a new hat tonight.
Yes.
Chris Marquardt has a new hat.
Different. I noticed it as soon as I walked in.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. Buell caught it. People on TV caught it.
It's got the...
Hang it up.
Hang up the phone.
I thought I muted that.
First day with a new phone.
Hey, I looked over some of them pictures of cars that are going to be down there and stuff. Man, the quality of builds are really make you like, man, I got to jump in one of these son of bitches. They look nasty.
You didn't put a ride together?
So you have a ride for for Blizzard Bash. I mean, what's your next big deal you're working on? Can you tell us yet, or is it is it secret?
I'm done.
Come on.
I got lucky a couple times. I'll take it as that.
Man, I figured you'd be working on something.
I have not.
I mean,
I'm
you're a
not
salesman
like that.
after all.
No, I'm not like that at all. I'm not going to beg. If someone wants to build me a car, I'll absolutely take it. But I will never beg. No.
So
How about a little chat room update?
Yeah, what you got? 'Cause I know we got to chat about David too.
Yeah, as we know, we got Josh Buell in the chat room. He's watching live,
Boo.
chatting in the box as well. We got somebody in there that has not changed their name, so they're just under the FL1 TV viewer, so they're anonymous with us. But earlier, when the show first started, there was a username in the chat room called Twins Rule Decker Drools.
Huh.
And Drool was spelled wrong. And I said,
no
hey,
way.
if you're going to insult Decker, you might want to try to spell correctly, and then they quit. Nick Sorella from
What's Daniel doing?
Daniel, is that you?
Nick Sorella from Minnesota here with us again. Tom Woodbury from Vermont here as well. And everybody's enjoying the show, talking about some upcoming shows like Hartford and some other stuff.
Nice.
So
this is a conversation actually on the topic of the chat room. A conversation has taken place here in the last couple of days about what we're going to do and where people can go if they want to get their name mentioned on the show. And usually you don't get a hold of the guys on CBS and
I was
Fox.
going to say NBC. You can't call
Yeah,
Fox
you
and
can't
say,
call them up.
give me a
and
shout out,
say,
Fox.
Hey, mention my name. However, so long as you guys don't kill our phones, we will do the best we can. If you guys want to hit us up on the Crash Course Facebook page, we will try to do everything that we can. We're not necessarily going to have the live chat room fired up all the time through the course of our adventure out there in Hot Springs. But I know we're going to try to keep everybody as happy as possible. But at the same time, we're out there to talk about the Derby cars. And if we spend all of our time talking about everybody who's watching at home, we might get a little bit unpopular with some of the folks who.
No, absolutely. But on the other side, the note of that is also our phones will die. Because last time, everyone loved me until my phone died. And then I see, hey, jerk, thanks for saying our name, you asshole. And it's like, my phone died. Yeah. So if we don't answer you anymore, our phones are dead.
Yeah. I tried to post, actually. I posted, my phone is dead. I have no battery.
No one cares. No. You're a jerk because we're not answering it. Put a charger on it.
Just on the topic of that. But I know we had some fallout at the last show that was actually completely off base. But I know Steve had some conversations there, and I guess Steve can go first.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of address that. Last week we were kind of chatting about compact shows, and the topic was kind of about big money compact shows and a show coming up, paying $2,000 for compacts, and I brought up the comment that big money doesn't always solve all your problems with the show, and I mentioned the Keystone Nationals compact show last year as an example of that, and it caused a little controversy. I got some messages from people who were concerned that possibly that I was actually talking badly about David Day, who runs that compact show, and Dave's a friend of mine, so I wanted to address that and kind of just put an end to any kind of questioning about that. When I brought up the Compact Nationals, I did it purely to compare prize money versus car count.
Right.
They paid out $4,000 total for that compact show, and only 16 cars showed up. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason. It could have been rules. It could have been guys didn't have cars built. We don't know. But that was the only point I was trying to make with that comment. It was in no way about the quality of the show, anything to do with inspections. And
I kind of threw gas on that fire.
Was Chris's comment.
Yeah.
Chris added on because we were talking about what makes a show successful, and we were talking about prize money. And then Chris said, what else makes a show successful? Having good inspections and having an inspection crew who knows what they're doing, which is all correct. But the timing of the comments made it seem as if we were saying that Keystone Nationals did not have a good crew or did not have good inspection, and that wasn't the case at all.
No.
So we just wanted to publicly come out and tell everybody who's listening and anybody who watches the video that that wasn't what we were trying to convey. We actually really support the Keystone Nationals, both the compact show and the full-size show. I'm the announcer for both shows. I have no reason to talk down about them. And David Day is a hell of a derby guy all the way around.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to clear the air and put it out there.
Well, Dave Baker, who ended up winning that compact show, ended up getting compact driver of the year because he turned around and had a killer run over at Metal Destruction too in the stock division there, and he carried the in-car camera at the Keystone Nationals. He won one of the year-end awards. We're not saying anything bad about David.
No, definitely not. No, he's a good guy. It's tough on this show too, though. People got to remember we're just talking as it comes out and what comes to your mind, and
we're not perfect.
We're very, and I think why we all work well is we're kind of all truthful. So if we say something, we just say it. But as far as that thing, Steve, I heard it when it was said, and I didn't take it like that, but I could see how it could be taken like that.
Oh, yeah,
because
it's easy.
It was just bad. It's just weird how the sentence structure went in that. So
it's bad timing.
Yeah, exactly. But Dave, I think everyone knows down that way. He's a great long-term derby guy that knows his stuff, and there's definitely nothing bad to say about him.
Listen, this is going to happen again in our history. It's going to happen again. And they say, if you're not pissing somebody off, you're not doing something right. But it wasn't meant that way, so we just want to clear it up.
I've heard some of that stuff too, but I don't kind of agree with that stuff. I mean, and maybe let me speak for myself here. I'm here only to grow the sport, and I think that's what the group of us is. Sometimes we say stuff. We're here just solely because we love the sport. It's not like there's no other rhyme or reason to it. And when we say stuff, it's just what we're feeling from our experience.
Well, there were some folks that had an issue with back in December when we had Wade from Derby Parts, Scott from Smash Masters, and Scott Cook from Tough Stuff all in the same episode. And we basically, some people took it as we were making them fight against each other.
Not at all.
And I mean, we weren't trying to do that at all.
But also, we told the other ones that the other ones will be here. So if they didn't like that, no, not at all. So, and again, that was us just trying to get aftermarket parts out to people that maybe don't know about them or hear about them or places to go. It was
No, that wasn't what we were trying to do. What we were trying to do was get wives who didn't know what to get their husbands for Christmas some ideas and sell some parts for our.
My wife must have missed that episode.
My wife fell right out of that one.
I didn't get shit from her.
We should have hosted that show on like the Victoria's Secret runway show or something. The wives would have seen it.
Yeah, but again, if people don't agree with us on this show, none of us, any of us. No, I'm going to be serious. You can text me and say I don't agree with you. We're here having a conversation about it. There's no
that's the thing.
Getting angry
this is real time. I mean, the people that are listening at home watching on their TVs can text us right now or get in the live chat and message Steve, who watches it religiously. And he's frequently feeding me notes and things that are coming in through the live chat. You can tell us we're idiots as soon as we say it if you want to.
Oh no, people do. People tell me all the time, which is fine. But there's no wrong. Just because I like something or say something, I get kind of like I laugh at people that are like, "You're so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about." It's like, but we all have different ideas. What I think and what Brian think is not the same.
No,
and it's okay.
That's true.
Thank God.
That's very true.
But it's okay. It's okay. One of us wants to run stock. One of us wants to try something. It's all right. We can all disagree. And then go smoke each other on the track,
Agree to disagree.
Like I'm going to do to you. I'm just going to, but we're friends.
Absolutely.
I'm going to drive you out of your seat.
Yeah.
And that's what friends do. And then we're going to smile.
Hey, what's going to happen?
I'm going to buy you a beer.
All right.
With my prize money.
Hey, Gully joined the chat room. He's here too.
Who's there?
Gully.
Oh.
Gully's watching on the big screen.
Yeah, buddy.
Nothing better to do out there in the country. Do you even have TVs out there?
Wow.
If anybody knew where that guy lived, nowhere.
Go past the elm tree.
Way out there.
Decker, I've been to your house before. You're kind of out the country, buddy.
Not even close to this guy.
You're kind of out the country.
Go 2 more hours out of the country.
Turn off the paved road.
To get to Gully's house, he says, take a right at the red barn, and then when the road splits, kind of go left, but then take a quick right, and then there's an elm tree, and then you take a right at the... It's like, I'm not going to find this place. It took me 2 hours to find it. It was horrible. Got dark.
We got...
Then all of a sudden, boom, there's Gully's house. Derby cars everywhere.
What?
With all the snow and winter we've been having, I think everybody's been going a little stir crazy at home because social media has been really just lit up. Facebook is going crazy. People are asking, is it May yet? Is it time for Bash for Cash yet? And
there's a lot of stuff
really
going on.
To get pumped for a lot of these shows coming up.
There's a lot of stuff going on before we get to Bash for Cash, but we wanted to.
Yeah.
We do actually. We should do.
Pay some bills.
Yeah, we should do that first, and we'll be right back with you here. This is the
Can't wait for
new
Bash
one
for Cash.
For Bash for Cash.
What better way to spend Memorial Day than seeing a bunch of cars being smashed? Spend the holiday with Smash the Demolition Derbies as they again host the Bash for Cash at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Planned for May 24th and 25th, the card is headlined by the co-main events, the 11,000 to win DerbyParts.com 80s and newer class, and the DerbyTees.com 10,000 to win Turn Back the Clock division. Other classes include full-size trucks, U-Compact, street stocks, and the 80s and newer wire-up division. Gates open daily at 10 a.m. with action to follow at 4. For more information and details, visit the online home of Bash for Cash at www.smashitderby.com. The new rules are just right. Set aside July 19th for the reinvented Keystone Nationals. Again this summer, Bo Lockwood will host the Keystone Nationals at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. A revamped rulebook will help welcome an all-star field as the limited well division takes center stage and a feature paying $5,000 to win. Pre-entries for the stock division are already full. For more details, join the Keystone Nationals community online at www.facebook.com/Keystone Nationals. Once again, the Keystone Nationals, July 19th, 2014 at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds, Brookville, Pennsylvania.
And also Total Destruction Demo now welcoming the Imperials back. They're going to have the Ontario County Fairgrounds. It's their second show, their first county fair show. They got the spring show in Morris on deck. They've also got the Otsego County Fair, first week of August, and the Franklin County Fair up in Malone. Really excited about that. We get to go up there. We'll see Scott Cook and all the guys from Tough Stuff Derby Parts up there. We'll have a couple cameras running for that show up there in Malone. Not going to have the Imperials up there. They have a really, really low front stretch wall, and they have a lot of people that stand behind it. So they're kind of figuring that those subframes will probably knock that wall down like that. So they're not going to mess with those. And they're starting to allow the Fords in as well. So it's going to be real exciting season for Total Destruction Demos.
Super exciting.
They move another step closer to bringing what we see all the time when we go to the Midwest back out here.
But real quick to touch on that.
Just so you know, Jimmy is on the line.
I'll stop talking. Go ahead, Jimmy.
We'll get to that. I know we wanted to catch up with Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy, you're on the line here on the DerbyParts.com hotline. Welcome to the show as you prepare for Razorback. What have you got left to do as you get ready to go compete in Hot Springs, Arkansas this weekend?
Got a little bit of rear end work to do, so we're mounting that up underneath there tonight, and then we got a dry shaft that's on its way, and I think a little bit of hood work, and then we'll be about ready for some paint.
So you're done. That sounds done to me.
You've got the opportunity to have a couple. We talked before about some of these apprentices, as you will, that have sort of stepped up their game. That you're kind of helping those guys out. Are those guys also ready to go? Are they in as good a shape as you are?
I think they're working pretty hard. I think a couple of them are pretty good. I think my youngest there, Nick. I think he's probably the farthest behind, but I think a couple of the brothers are jumping in there, going to give him a hand and get it done. Should be looking good by Wednesday night or Thursday.
So how many cars are actually going to Arkansas from your camp?
Oh shoot! I think we got with the gig boys from Team Kansas. I think we've got a couple guys going, and I think with my gig boys, I think there's like 3 over there going too. So I think we're looking at like about probably 6.
What's everyone running, Jimmy? I know what you're running, but what's everyone else?
80s and newer cars. I'd imagine everybody's going to be in VIX. I think we'll be pretty close to all VIX.
9802. Or are we not talking?
Yep. 9802 for this camp, anyhow.
I'm surprised you got an answer for that.
When I was asking it, I was like, maybe I shouldn't ask it. But no, I got to assume everyone's going to run 9802s, right? I mean, different bodies, but I guess assume frame-wise.
Yeah. I think that dominantly what you'll see down there is probably 9802s.
So how long before we see the 98-02 outlawed like the 03?
No.
The 9802 is not going to hold a candle to them 03s that I've seen, but they do pretty well anyhow.
So all you got left is drive shaft work. I mean, is that got to be a nice position to be in, that you can go through and double check everything now as you wait on the arrival of the drive shaft and stuff to go through? How important is that second and third edition of the final check over before you get there, so you know that your stuff is genuinely ready to go? I mean, you always see those guys that are thrashing around the pits doing a lot of stuff before they unload the car, and you got to wonder if they had the chance to go through, cross their T's and dot their I's.
Well, it's a long story. I'm not going to put my drive shaft in probably until Thursday night.
Okay.
I'll be down in Arkansas, and it's a brand new rear end, so I'll have to jack it up on the trailer and break the rear end in, and so this car won't have much run time on it before the show.
Interesting. So how does that change? How does that change your approach?
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I was hoping for something in depth, but I kind of figured that it wasn't going to change anything.
Jimmy, when you're building cars and you get done, let's say on Thursday night you're done, you're in the garage, you're looking at it, you're done. Do you go back through and look at and go bolt by bolt and piece by piece and go over everything again, or do you trust that the first time you build something, you build it right and you shouldn't have to go back? How do you look at that when you're about ready to derby?
A builder's work is never done. So you always try to get that extra edge, go back across, see if there's something you want to do a little different before the show, tie everything in just the way you want it.
Right.
And try to make things happen. But it helps out if you're done ahead of time and you can double check, just double check everything, because you never know what's going to happen out there on the track. So
you listening, Josh?
The driver's seat, you can concentrate more on driving than you can on just everything else. So I wonder if I did this, I wonder if I did that type mentality. So it is nice to be done with everything. But
well, there's a lot of guys I know that they'll pull a car out of the garage and literally load it on a trailer and go to derbies, and to me that just doesn't work, because I literally, and maybe just because I enjoy driving the piss out of them in my driveway, but I'll drive a car up and down my driveway 40 times before I derby it, because I want to make sure everything works, everything is in the right order, everything, and I just can't imagine guys sometimes go to derbies without even test driving cars. But I guess that people are doing that, right?
I test drive mine on the way to the trailer when I'm loading it up.
Come on, Jimmy. Okay, throw away whatever I said.
Hey, Josh.
I'm not picking anybody. I'm not picking on
No, I do. I have to go over my car, and I do a couple times because I'm just not like weird like that. But that's interesting that you just literally that your stuff is there, and you're just gonna hop in it and go. That's awesome.
That's the difference between Jimmy Johnson and Josh Decker. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey guys, you met my cousin Jeff at the Derby party at the banquet.
Yes.
One time when I was a kid, he was pretty young too. We run stock derbies, so you don't have to do much to these cars. He apparently bought a car from some guy and just brought it straight to the track and stripped it there at the track and did all the work on the trailer and everything. And then it came time to go put it in line, and it wouldn't start. So my dad's like, "What's going on? How come it won't start?" And Jeff says, "I don't know. The guy said it ran when I bought it." He said, "You haven't run it yet?" He's like, "No, this is the first time I'm trying."
Oh, jeez.
So he bought a car, dragged it on the trailer, and figured he'd just make it run at the track.
Track filler. That's a track
It never
filler.
started. It didn't run.
What happened to it? Did it get squashed?
I think they probably got rid of it. It was I was a kid, but my dad loves to tell that story.
Your dad's got a lot of good stories too.
If he can remember him, he has some good ones.
That's awesome.
So Jimmy, what are you looking forward to the most when getting into Hot Springs? I mean, you looking forward to driving and shaking off the winter rust here, or what?
We don't have no winter rest. We'll come back to the shop and we'll get started on the next show we're going to run. So it never ends around here. But no, you always look forward to getting down there and seeing some people you don't get to see very often, and talk and party a little bit with them. And I've already heard that the legend Josh Decker is going to be down there. So hey, I get to meet the legend while I'm there.
Oh, jeez, don't even start, Jimmy. Don't even start that shit. Don't even start that shit.
Hey, I wasn't going to ask, but now that since Jimmy's brought it up, are you going to have a table set up for autographs?
Oh, yeah, right.
And tips?
Please
or,
stop
I mean,
with that.
tips.
Tips.
I'm just wondering.
Tips I'll take.
No, I mean, are you like derby tips? I mean, you don't have like a little seminar? Or...
Right, compared to these guys, I have no tips. There's not one tip I could give Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson
Zero.
just mentioned you, man. He called you a legend. I mean,
he also laughed during it.
Oh, I missed that part.
No, I can't wait to watch you run.
Glossy 8x10s or something there that he'd autograph and take pictures with folks and stuff like that.
Get out of here.
$5 a piece or something.
Get out of here.
Actually, that reminds me, I do have to pick those up at the copy shop upstairs. I forgot to do that for you earlier.
Shut up, dude. Oh, jeez.
One thing is that I don't think there's any way Josh could ever get a big head because we would never let it happen.
No.
We bust
Oh,
his
no, you
chops.
guys break me right
fierce.
down. Yeah, thank you for breaking me. Constantly breaking me down. Thank you.
We gotta get a better joke though, because really all the other thing we got now is like almost 8 months old.
The wall joke is
Yeah, let's get new
it's
jokes
wild.
so we're not telling the same jokes over and over again.
Now Josh has complete strangers messaging him wall jokes.
No, I get
Facebook.
the people will friend me and then say the wall, ha ha ha, and it's like Jesus Christ. If you're not my friend, you can't tell that joke. Let me just throw that out there.
Listen,
from now on.
For the record, I was the first one to ever.
Of course you were.
A wall joke about. No, I'm just kidding.
Jimmy, are you starting out the year with a brand new, fresh Grop motor, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is actually. We picked one up the other night, and we're going to be running it out there a little bit. I didn't get time to dress it up the way I want to. Got it. Just ended up picking it up the other day, but we're going to be sitting pretty good.
So let me get this straight. Your car has no time on it. Your motor has no time on it. You're just winging it, Jimmy.
You got to have faith, son. You got to have faith.
That kind of stuff screws with my head because if I try that, I'm the first one out.
So what he's planning on doing is,
Decker, I'm telling you right now, if I go out on that track and something happens, I'm the first one out. I'm coming out on that car. I'm gonna come up and punch you right in the face.
I'm sorry. That's awesome. I'll take that, sir. That's fine. I hope I didn't jinx you.
That's the best thing I've ever heard on any of our shows. Right there.
I pick you as the winner. So
I want that as a screenshot. Right there.
Oh, that's funny. I hope I don't get punched by you.
The light behind you actually turned. The light behind you turned green as that happened, and it still overshadowed everything with your face turned red.
I would feel so horrible right now. I'd run out of there.
Punch you in the face.
That's so funny.
That is without a doubt the best thing that's ever been said on our show.
I would also like to point out that Jimmy Johnson didn't stutter whatsoever.
No, he was serious.
Yeah, there wasn't even a joke.
That's awesome.
There wasn't even a laugh.
That's funny.
So, at what point do you consider a car done? Then, I mean, you got no. What's the last thing I mean, if we want to go back to the crossing of T's and the dotting of I's, what's the last thing that you have to do before you call a car done?
Put the hood on it.
Put the hood on it. Okay, I did ask that question, and that was an answer.
Just put the hood on. Once I put the hood on, she's done. She's ready for paint. And I'll throw the cloth down over the motor, put the hood on it, and take her to paint, and pull the hood off, pull the cloth off, and let her dry, and we're ready to rock and roll. I usually, before I do that, put that hood on there. I'll go to a bumper to bumper, just tightening, just checking everything, just making sure that we got everything ready to rock,
With the entry list, do you like it when the entry lists are published ahead of time, or do you? We talked with Tory a little bit earlier about the entry list and the evolution of what that had become. So now that entry list isn't made public anymore, do you like it better when the entry list is out there in the open for everybody to see, or do you prefer it to be something somewhat of a secret?
Anytime that you're getting the quality drivers, you're going to find in Arkansas, with the icons, the guys that run the icon shows, there's going to be a quality group of guys. It doesn't matter if there's going to be 20 drivers, if there's going to be 100 drivers, you're going to have a quality group of guys there.
Yep.
And so you just make your plan that it's going to be the worst, as far as people, you just want to make sure that you got yourself covered, that you're going to be up against the best drivers in the nation. So that's the way to just prepare yourself. And if it's less than that, then that's fine, but you don't ever want to underestimate anybody. That's what I kind of try to teach the boys. Just drive your race, and how it ends up is how it's going to end up.
We talked a little bit about the diversity of the list this year and the different states that are represented. Now, we don't know who's coming from what particular state, but when you look at the list of states that are going to be represented in Arkansas, you've got the potential for a lot of different driving styles to be coming into one place. And we already know that Razorback Rumble is a faster pace show than you see at Metal Mayhem. Does that change at all? I mean, the way that the team strategies, some of these, the entries, the driving style, does any of that stuff change when you know that there's some different dynamics out there, or is it just keep your nose to the grindstone and do your own thing?
Well, like I told the boys, this is going to be the first big show. I said, this is just a county fair, guys. You go out there, you drive your race, you do what you have to do as a driver, and outcome's going to come regardless. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I said, you worry less about who's going to be there, worry less about this car over there or that. Just concentrate on driving. If you can do that, I said, you'll come out and you'll be just fine.
Now, when you go out of state, Jimmy, and you're traveling a little ways, is there any politics? I know a group of you guys are pretty much going out there. Do you start politicking towards other groups or that, or when you're going with a group of guys, do you pretty much just say like, nah, these are my core guys, I'm going to run with these guys, and that's it? Or do you try to politic and get other groups with you? How does that kind of work when you're running out of state and stuff?
There's politicking, it's this derby. That's just how it is. And usually if you go and you're by yourself, which I do a lot, you know people there, but there's the guys that I've been running with for years. There's just that respect factor out there, and them guys, they're going to take it to the end with you, and it's just common ground. They know they don't even have to come talk to me.
Yep.
Or I don't have to go talk to them. They just know, and that's just fine. But as far as just going around and asking this one to run with you and run that one, I really don't do that a whole lot. But if you do, mainly that is more team shows than you do anywhere else. Because there's got to be a strategy there.
Now, how about here's a kind of a good question. How about guys that you don't want to run with? Because this happens, I think, to all of us. You get to a show, a guy comes up to you, says, I'm all by myself. You want to run with me? Can you run with my buddy? But you don't want to for whatever reason. Are you honest with guys like that? Do you just go out and say, like, yeah, sure, whatever? Or you're honest with them and say, like, no, buddy, you're getting smoked today? I mean, how do you attack that?
Well, usually we just, if they're you know, hey, I tell you what, if you stay away from me, don't hit me, you'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And stay away from me, I'll just try to stay away from you. But it is like it is. It's a derby. We're there to hit people. So, I mean, you don't take offense to it. I mean, it is what it is. But I usually don't try to make deals too awful much with a whole lot of people.
And I think that side of derbying has got kind of out of control, where guys sometimes get emotional about you eventually having to hit them. And we all have to realize that every single one of us is a derby driver out there. We all have to hit each other. At the end of the day, we should all be able to hit each other, whether you're your buddy or not, and be okay with it. And sometimes I think people get like, I've had people just screaming and yelling at me. It's like, I thought we were running together. It's like, yeah, but there's 3 of us left, and the other guy's my partner. You're getting hit. You know, I think people don't step back sometimes, and I think that side of derbying is getting crazy sometimes, the political side of it.
Going to the other side of that.
A lot of politics.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you know, let's break some of the political molds here. So it's down the last little bit. The smoke's just starting to clear, and you whip your car around, and you've got the pedal all the way to the floor, and that grot motor's just a singing. And you got the crosshairs trained on somebody. Who do you want it to be? You got a full track, clean shot. Who do you want to hit?
Oh, Chad Markley.
Okay, a good buddy. That's always good.
That's a good answer.
That's awesome.
I got my fingers crossed. It'd be a fun one to see.
Jimmy, I know you've been running for a couple of years, and you've been running your grops for a couple of years, but I mean, when that point does come, and you get somebody lined up for the perfect shot, and you just open that motor up, I mean, that's got to just be a rush to this day, isn't it? I mean, that's got to be one of those things. I mean, that's got to be one of the things that like keeps you loving the sport.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, just to touch something off like that and hold on. And,
hell yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a pretty big rush, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's a pretty big rush when you can do it, and then you pull away, and your car's still sitting in the same shape it was. Now, if your car's all bent to shit, it ain't worth a damn. I'll tell you that right now.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, and on a serious note, when's the last time you hit somebody and your car was all bent to shit?
89.
Yeah.
Was that back in the early '80s there when you were just started knocking glass out of them, or?
No.
No, it was before that.
It's happened before. It's happened before. Hey, it's happened to the best of us. I've had a couple of them that I lost my temper a little bit, and then I hit somebody, and it didn't turn out too good for him, but it didn't turn out too good for me either. But it is what it is.
I got a question
there's
about
nothing I can do. Cry over spilt milk. Go back to the shop. Try to build a little bit better one. That's about all.
Jimmy, in the derby industry, I mean, I think we all know you're one of the most respected guys in there. I had this discussion on a couple episodes before. Does a guy that's been doing it as long as you, do you ever feel that you make mental mistakes on the track? Because I catch myself making mental mistakes a lot, and I get angry sometimes at myself because some of them are stupid. Do you still catch yourself making mental mistakes, or have you run so long, does eventually do you knock them cobwebs out? How is it after running as many years as you?
Don't be so that you don't win. You could have did something a little bit different if you go back and watch the tapes, and even if you win a show, I wish I wouldn't have done this. I should have done it this way. You're always gonna second guess yourself. But it's just like I said, it's all in drawing of the cards and who you draw in that heat and how it's going to end up. If you go out and drive your race and do your best, hey, you can't be disappointed at the end.
Right.
Josh, I already told you. If you didn't win the feature, then you made a mistake. And if you did win the feature, you made a mistake because you could have won it sooner.
Well, that's very true. I'm interested in like what guys have been doing it forever, because I want to get to that point where like I don't second guess myself, because sometimes I second guess myself even in the car. And I think when you're doing that
then you're in trouble.
That's time. Yeah, that's time spent holding still.
It is though, Chris. And there's many times in my life where I've thought about things and changed it, and I was like, I should have changed it. That kind of stuff, I wondered if that ever leaves you.
That's interesting, Joshua. How does that make you feel?
It upsets me. It upsets me when my bumper's against my carburetor because I made a bad choice.
Yeah, that happens.
But like in Winter Slam a couple of months ago, I made a real bad choice right towards the beginning. I took a bad shot in a tire, and that was total driver error. And as soon as I did it and backed up and I felt that locked up, it's like, you stupid son of a... I was so mad at myself, and I want that to stop happening.
Where'd you finish in that one?
Fifth.
All right, checking.
But if I didn't get hit there, maybe I would have got third, second, first. Right, exactly.
I don't think you'd have beat that T-Bird.
That son of a bitch. Dude, that guy was awesome. Zacharias. Yeah, that was.
He did okay.
Dude, he was a good driver.
He did great.
Jimmy, You plan on running balls out this weekend? Are you going to be relaxed, or what's your? No, seriously. When you go to a show like this, what's your game plan out of the gate, or do you just play it by ear?
Are you talking to me, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. The game plan out of the gate, I like to sit back and relax. If you'll notice, I really don't go watch the other heats. I stay with my car, and I don't go get myself all jived up and I don't have to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me wanting to stay with my car or whatever. I like to relax and just chill out. I don't go watch other heats. And when I get ready to go in the Derby, I go in there and I'm fully relaxed and I'm ready to rock. And I know what I got to do to try to get myself to the next level. But what do you do at the beginning, Josh? Do you go watch the other heats and have to get yourself pumped up before you go out there?
No, that's so awesome that you said that, because I'm really into the calming myself down. A really good driver in our area that took me under his wings, that was his biggest thing always, was to slow yourself down, relax. The Derby doesn't have to be your what's the rush you get? You don't have your adrenaline doesn't have to be crazy. You can slow yourself down and enjoy the Derby more. And I'm glad that you kind of say that, because that's how I am. I like to relax, take a walk away. I'm not listening to what's going on. I try to get mentally into like the brain side of it, maybe, I guess.
There's an interesting thing that I've heard over the course of our last 20 or so episodes, however many we've done now, is some people say, when I get ready to go drive, I'm listening to heavy metal. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go smash cars.
Yeah.
And there's guys that talk about going out there and smashing cars, and other guys on the other side of it try to relax. They always refer to it as going out and driving.
Right.
They go out and they drive.
Yes.
They drive. They pick their hits. They're very particular about what they do in the car, and it's interesting to see that split between the guys that I'm just going to go out there and smash cars, and their results often mirror that. And there's guys that want to go out there and drive, and their results mirror that.
And that's just what I was going to say, is that the guys that generally talk about driving are the guys that take home the checks and the trophies that they
But stepping back is, that's why Derby's not the same thing to every people, and you can't get mad because one guy wants to do things. Well, I want to go out and win a Derby, and I hear people say, I'm here to junk cars. Well, I did that for 10 years. Now I want to try to win some Derbies. Just because somebody wants to do something different than you doesn't mean it's right or wrong by any means. Right?
Right, exactly right.
And you need
don't make it any more wrong for that guy to want to go out there and put on a show for the fans, or a guy that wants to go out there and he wants to drive a race and make smart shots. Not necessarily sandbag, but when he makes a shot, it's a shot that's going to count, not a shot that's going to just do nothing. And just hurt your car.
The guys that want to win derbies need those guys that want to go out there and just wad up cars, because those wild cards might be the guy that take out one of the guys you're worried about as competition.
I wait for that all the time. There's times in derbies it's like, man, will somebody track that guy over there, get him out of here? And then somebody comes through and barrels through him and is like, thank you. So
you were talking about guys going through line and talking about working together. How many loose cannons do you hire going out onto the track?
Hire?
You know what I mean? Work deals with or whatever.
Very often.
Yeah.
Our area is such a small area where everyone knows each other, and I don't even think half the guys I don't have to tell. If someone knows I'm mad at someone, and my buddies are usually right there for me, but it works vice versa. I've had there's a group of guys that for 10 years, they didn't have to tell each other. They destroyed me. It didn't matter which one of them was in the heat. Decker's out first. And they were really good at that for a long time. But that is derbying. What are we going to do? Go out there and hold your foot to the floor, I guess.
But we're going to go out. We're going to see one in Arkansas and find out how they do it in Hot Springs.
I can't wait.
That's what we're going to do.
I want to put a shit, them boys that I've been helping, them gig boys down in St. John, Missouri, they have went above and beyond, spent the money. Oh my God, just spent money, hard work, putting cars together for the last couple of years. And I want to give them a little congrats on all the hard work and money and effort that they put in the last couple of years, because sooner or later they're going to surpass me. I think they're willing to put it out there. So, congratulations to them guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Now, Jim,
it's always good to have a student that listens to the teacher.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it amazes me. I hear that sometimes people are saying, what we like about you is you're into learning about derbying, which that's all I care about is derbying. I think about it all day. It's kind of amazing to me that some guys really don't care about learning and progressing, and they want to just stay in their ways. To me, the more you can learn, it's like, I want to learn it, I want to hear it, I want to try it,
Absolutely.
Maybe I'm just weird about that. Maybe I'm addicted. I don't know. I can't stop thinking derby. It's scary.
With all the technology in the sport, I just don't see how you can't just sit around and learn every day. I mean, I don't care how long you've been doing it. Everything's changing every day in the sport, and that's how it's going to evolve. And if you want to grow with the sport, you're going to have to sit back and listen and learn and do all that. So.
And there's so much to learn, like you said. I mean, my mind has been so blown for 6 months. I can't even comprehend some of the stuff I've learned, dude. I've been learning such awesome stuff. And you talk to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy's showing you better and better. And, man, it's just there's so much out there that, maybe our area didn't know about it. Or just me, I never traveled much. So now that I'm getting to travel, it's like, man, I didn't know anything about Demolition Derby. And I thought I was a guru about Demolition Derby. And I don't know nothing. And it's really kind of screwed with my head the last few months.
All right, so you've got all these guys that are giving you information that you're getting to pick their brain, right?
Yeah.
How long is it before you come across somebody that says, well, if you're getting information from him, you're not talking because they're worried about you passing that information on and giving away all their secrets?
Oh, well, that's absolutely right. And let me say that guys that are telling me things, I'm not going out there because that's totally wrong. That takes away from because you got to go do your own legwork, and I get that. And guys have been very nice to me, but they went and did their own legwork, and that's worth something. Telling everybody how to build something that someone else told you is just wrong, I think. I won't do that to people. But also, how lucky are you that you got to learn that information? It's like, oh, man, it's like a little piece of gold you got here. It's like, let me just put it in my pocket and not going to tell anybody about it until somebody catches you, And that's kind of what I'm looking for this year. You hear that, Ben Hoss?
Like the gig boys in St. John, when we met, they bought one of my setups, one of my old setups, and I got to talking to them. They came from a derby background. They had put their time in the compact class and kind of took that to a different level for them, and they were ready to move on to full size cars. They just didn't quite know how and what they needed to get in there, but they were willing to put in the work. And they went in there and they did all their R&D. They ran shows. They put it out there and tried new stuff, and then it's just one of them things where just a different piece here and there, and just helping them along, But as far as the R&D and legwork and just giving them recipes, that's not how it works. You got to go out there and you got to put in your legwork, and you got to learn how to do all that.
Absolutely.
You just got somebody in the background. If you got a problem with something and something's not working for you, you can call Uncle Jimmy up and I help them out. And they're just good boys. They put out the shop time and the money and it takes to get all the stuff that you need to do this sport, and they don't ever complain. They don't ever bitch. They just go out and they do what it takes to get it done. So you got to give them a little. In this time and age, you really just got to give them a heads up for it.
Absolutely. But those are guys that are going to be around 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
The guys that we just burn out and drive them out of their seat every time. You need that. I agree.
But that's the thing. I mean, what I see is, it's a lot of the younger kids, they think, all right, well, I bought this and I bought that and I'm going to be good. And, then they go out and get hit a couple times or they lose and that guy's cheating. And, instead of, hey, look, what do you think of doing this? And even something small, like, hey, how would you run your gas line? I mean, just something, I was blessed. As I said before, I walked up to the Snyders, who for years won everything with Mopars, and said, hey, I'm a nobody, but how do you do this? Or why is that like that? And, for whatever reason, they answered my questions,
It helps you out.
It definitely helps you out. I mean, it's,
led to a win at Waterloo.
Was that late 70s? Late 70s. Hey, real quick, Jimmy, when you get to the track with your guys, will you go over and look over their cars and say, hey, real quick, you guys, I want you to change that. Or do you let them roll with whatever they built, see what happens, you guys learn from your mistakes? How do you do it right when you get to the track?
If they ask me a question, I'll answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves an I told you so moment.
If they ask me a question, I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Not saying that it's always right, not saying it's wrong, but I'll answer it to the best of my ability. But on the other hand I don't want to go up there and downgrade somebody else's work. Every little thing they did to that car, it took time and effort from them. And for me to walk up and say, oh, that's fucking crap, you need to change this, you need to change that, that's just disrespect, and I would never do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That definitely does happen. And as Brian, I wanted to touch on, as Brian said there, that some people will get mad after a derby and say, like, that guy cheats. And that any derby driver, listen to me, any derby driver that gets out of their car and says, that guy cheats, or that guy, stop derbying. Yeah. We don't want you, okay? You need to look back at yourself. If you get out of the car and you start bitching like that, you better take a step back and look at yourself and say, what did I do wrong? Because I guarantee you something you did wrong, not he did wrong. That kind of upsets me. I hear that a lot at tracks, and it's just ignorance, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's
been the worst of that. So I mean, I've seen them. I've been protested. I've been this. I've been that. I've been just talked about. Whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, if they want to talk, let them talk. You know, but they just you know, they design themselves as a builder driver, and people know how they are.
Well, exactly right. You're not getting ahead by bitching about somebody else's cars. There used to be guys that I know were cheated and would junk me, and one of the old guys around here used to say every time, he used to put his hand on my back and say, Josh, just go build another car and build it better and just walk away. And he really taught me that just walk away. There's another derby a week away usually. Just go build another goddamn car and go smoke them that time, you know. And that's the kind of mentality more we need in the sport.
The other problem, though, is look at all these big shows that we've been to. Look at all the shows that, I mean, I'm not saying that we've been to thousands, but we've been to a lot of these big shows that all have a vendor's row.
Yep.
Many of these shows that we've been to in the last all the shows we've been to in the last 6 months, you could build a car there.
Hell yeah.
You could buy everything you need. And if you could buy everything that you need, why can't I win that derby? And that's where
driving ability.
Between seat time, driving ability,
building,
and knowing what you're doing with what you've bought and making it work. That's where a lot of those parts and pieces come to play.
These parts that's one thing of doing the car. It is. But going to the shows, traveling, you know, the 300 or 400 miles, watching that show, studying that show, buying a video, taking it home, studying those drivers. Study those drivers that have been out there for 15, 20 years. You know, them guys that are in the number one top 10 seats, you know, at a 100-car show. That's how you're going to, driving style, that's how you're going to win shows. You can have the best stuff in the world, but if you don't understand driving style, you're not going to be there at the end.
100% right, man. I sit and watch videos, and when I watch a video, I don't just watch the overlay of the whole video. I'll pick a guy. Like I just watched Blizzard Bash, actually, and I watched Jimmy. And I just sat and watched Jimmy, a couple of them. I sat the whole time and just watched what Jimmy did. Because when you watch a whole derby, it's like, oh, that guy was a good move. But watch just one guy. Watch how he manipulates the track, these better guys, and it's amazing what you'll learn driving just by watching somebody that's really good at it.
And I've done the same thing. I've watched Blizzard Bash a couple times now on DVD, and I was actually talking to Bobby Brockway on the computer, and I said, how are you able to change your driving style from Blizzard Bash, where you're on the gas junking people,
balls out,
to going to Mayhem, where it's, you know, you got to survive. And he thanked me for the compliment, and then said, you know, it's just it's one of those things I'm lucky to do. But I mean, that's pretty two dramatic driving styles to go from, you know, one. I mean, that's you're good. And I mean, you know, he's, you know, won Blizzard Bash, and he's, you know, finished top 3 or 4 at Mayhem.
He's a driver.
I mean, you know, and it's awesome to watch. You know, and that's, you know, I watched Jimmy, and, you know, I mean, I was impressed with the driving, but I was also impressed with the car. I mean, you know, that's the only car you see running. You know,
but now you start putting all those things together, and you see why guys like him are great, because the SOB can drive. The son of a bitch can build. He's got great iron. He's spending a month. You know, you start putting it all together, and it's like, well, duh, because I only did one of those things. I was only driving good. My car was a piece of shit. You know.
Yep.
Exactly what I was talking about. You know, you get them videos. You watch like the Bobby Brockways, the Don Santels, the Nick Erlachers.
Yeah.
You know, the list goes on and on and on. I could go on for days. But them are the guys you want to study and watch them. I mean, don't just watch the video. Watch that one particular driver, and then rewind that some bitch and watch the other driver, you know, and just study how they're doing it, what hits they're making, and when they make a good hit. I mean, that'll lead you to where you need to be. I mean, you don't I've been in wars with Bobby Brockway. I've been in wars with Nick Erlacher. I've been in wars with Don Santel. But they're good guys. They know what they're doing, you know, and that's just driving. You know, and that's where these young guys are going to learn the most, is these videos and going to these derbies. You know, and then taking these tools that you got from all these vendors that are building all this great stuff, and then take that and make it work for you.
And that's the thing. True. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of, to the average fan, you know, that goes to these shows, I mean, I think they're generally there, you know, just to watch shit get wrecked, which is awesome. But I think guys that are involved in the sport, we know when we get there, all right, if it comes down to this guy and this guy, that's going to be a show, and I can't wait to watch to try to learn. Because, we've all done it, I've sat and watched Brett Relier and Robbie Brown battle at Owego, and I just stood, just watching, because there was probably 300 wins between the two of those guys, and just to stand and watch, locally. But, then, to go out and watch the guys, that we've been able to watch, it's
I learned,
awesome.
Besides watching videos, when I'm out in a derby, which usually is early, I'll sit in my car, and I can think of a lot of times where I've just sat and watched really great drivers win them derbies 3 feet away from them, and just watching that these guys, it's really truly a chess match out there. And if you're going out there just saying, I'm hitting the first thing in front of me, and blah, blah, you are so far behind, because these guys literally know what you're doing 10 moves ahead. And I've been out there where I derbied, and a guy across from me.
How are they far behind, though? If that's their mentality. We just
Well,
said
no,
we just said it's not that big of a deal. If that, we need those
Absolutely
guys.
right. No, I'm saying if you want to win.
Yeah.
If you want to, you're absolutely right.
There's guys out there that have no intention of winning. They know they're not going to.
Absolutely right.
They just want the little trophy that says, you hit harder than anybody else. You are the craziest person here.
Steering wheel holder,
I got
we call
some
them.
of those.
No, I understand that. It's just there's a lot of different driving styles out there, and sometimes I've been stepping back myself and saying, forget what you've been thinking and saying in the past. It's open your eyes a little bit, open your brain a little bit, and try some different things out, and watch how other people do things. You might learn something, and I've been learning a lot lately.
Absolutely.
We got bring up a couple other names. Bob Whitaker. You don't get a better driver.
Oh yeah.
I've seen him do some incredible things.
Yeah. Yes.
And I've seen Bob take shit that you just thought, man, he's out, and Bob will wheel that thing around and make it happen and win derbies. And when it comes to what's that now?
You think guys are just born being great drivers? Like, you think, were you just born a great driver, or you think it's taught?
I think it's learned.
Yeah.
I think from what I think racing and derbying, I think there is some natural God-given talent there. You can control yourself. You can see things slower. Because like I've talked, racing at Syracuse when the Outlaws used to race up there, they were running around Syracuse 150 miles an hour. They were averaging whatever, but they would talk about seeing things slow. I'm going, how in the hell can you see things slow? But then you start to think about it. I've talked to my brother with a modified, and you can see stuff, and it's the same thing in derby. And the good drivers, very rarely do you see them getting dumb spots.
Absolutely. That's very true.
And that's because they can, and locally I've talked with Brett. He's like, this and this and that, and I'm like, I can't do that. And he's like, you got to think this far ahead. And I'm just like,
you do though, Brian.
Yeah, I know, but it's
the mental game is fun to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's
but
fun to me.
I think that's where some of the natural stuff comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with anything, I think the more repetition you get, the better you're going to get.
Oh, that's definite.
If you're striving to become better, and I have nothing against the guy who just wants to go out and destroy shit every derby. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to win, I think every time you're going to try to get better, and you're going to work harder at it. And
you have to. You have to.
I wish we had an explicit content label to put on the screen.
Why are we all swearing today?
You're just teeing
Who
off.
gives a shit, Chris?
It's the internet. There's no laws.
Any kids listening? I'm sorry.
You're just teeing off.
I'm sorry, Chris. Apologize.
There's no
Got
no
emotional.
restrictions on it. But
Yeah, you told me I could swear, I thought.
yeah.
Doggone it.
There you go.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, shucks. Right.
No, it's fine. Jimmy, what day are you getting down there? Friday?
I really feel at home when I'm on this show, because that way, everybody on there's got a dirtier mouth than I do. So I feel better.
I'm a salesman by trade, so that's all I do. I swear all day.
I work in a jail. It's that's par for the course.
Yeah, that's got to
there.
be real bad. There.
Par for the course. Sorry, Mom.
Go ahead, cut us off. Jimmy, are you going down there? Are you going to be making it down there Thursday night, or are you going to be down there Friday?
Cut us off. Let me start talking.
No. I'll be on Thursday night, putting the drive shaft in, breaking it in the rear end.
Okay, we're gonna get there early, and we're gonna help you. Actually, I'm gonna drink beer while you watch you do it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you probably don't put a drive shaft in Jimmy's car.
No,
Just
I don't want to do that. I agree with that.
Because you will get punched in the face.
No, I know.
Hey, for the record, if Jimmy does punch him in the face, can you make sure to get that on
I'm
camera?
gonna do it.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
just at some point, I want to make sure I see that on camera.
That would be awesome.
It's gonna be Jimmy, wait. Okay.
That'd be so funny. I would laugh the whole time. Because I deserved it.
I swear to God.
And he's not laughing again. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
It's
He's
fine.
really not laughing.
It's fine.
I'm pretty sure that a dude that's already angry, if you tell him to wait because you want to tape it, it's gonna make him like a little more angry.
I'm gonna
I
pray
mean,
tonight.
that's about it. I'm just going to say a promise is a promise.
I'm with you, sir. I understand. I gotta. Please last a while.
Don't be nervous, Josh. What's the worst that
No,
can
I
happen?
know. For the first 5 minutes, I'll be sweating.
Josh, think about this for yourself, though. You need to look big picture.
Go ahead.
Who was the last person that got to have the roof sign autographed by Mike Brown and get punched in the face by Jimmy Johnson in the same week?
That would be great. I'm fine with it. I would actually be okay with it.
Same week.
That's awesome.
Jimmy, if you hit him hard enough, he'll probably get tattoos of the bruises, so it's there forever.
Can you sign the bruise?
Right here. Get the knuckle prints.
My jaw broke.
Not so much here or here. Right here.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Now you're winning this shit, man. You're winning it, Jimmy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I want to hear, Josh.
Damn right, man. Oh, I'll be rooting you on. Trust me. I'll be rooting you on.
What about the other 8 drivers you said you were going to root on and
No,
mention
just
their name too?
Josh, my advice now would be to just
Quiet.
Just stop. Because this hole,
right.
you're going to be
All
down
right,
there.
all
You're
right,
going
all right.
to be getting punched Thursday.
All right. Let's get out of
All
here.
right.
Let's go have some beer.
Jimmy, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on the show and
Definitely.
hanging out with us. And this is a record for us. Actually, we've gone just about an hour and a half. We really look forward to catching up with you down there. And by all means, safe travels and good luck with you the finishing touches on your cars. And we'll see you either Thursday or Friday.
My pleasure, my man. Give us a call anytime.
All right, we'll do that. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He's good shit.
We got.
Every time I talk to him, he's really good. I mean, there's a lot of great guys that are really good to you out there. For any guys that have questions, don't be scared to ask some of the better guys, because I've learned that for the most of the time, they're willing to help you. Don't be scared to ask guys what they do, or if they don't want to answer, just back off. But there's a lot of guys that will be very open to.
Worst they're gonna do is tell you no,
and that's
or go away, or punch you in the face.
But also remember, when you learn something, you probably didn't learn the whole thing.
Yeah.
You probably only learned a little bit. 'Cause that's what I've been learning. I got to put all the
Just
pieces
enough.
together. You got to put all the
Just
pieces
enough.
together.
You need to focus on this, and they don't tell you anything else.
No, definitely. That was awesome. He said he's going to punch me. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah,
Imagine
you
how
can't
famous
tell
you'd
me
be then.
Dude, it would be funny, though.
Because I mean, they would sell a lot of pay-per-view tickets. People want to see Josh.
I'd just be laid out on the ground.
It would be. I should probably quantify that. It's going to sell a lot of pay-per-view tickets in New York.
Absolutely. A lot of people want to see me get knocked out. That's fine.
Right?
I understand. You got your hint there.
Poor Josh. Poor Josh. Monday when we get back, he's gonna have a big black eye.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Hey,
It's
when
terrible.
I'm sitting in the dome watching Monster Jam, if he gets punched, I want to, as
don't you worry.
soon as it happens, I want my phone to be vibrating to let me know what's going on.
It's like, Brian, you won't believe just happened. And he'll be like, I'm not in the dome yet. It's Thursday morning.
Get out of the way for early, Jimmy. No, it was good
All
talk
right.
to him. I was really interested in a lot of those things that he just said. It was awesome.
Was the chat room busy?
Yeah, it was very busy.
Is that good?
Unfortunately, a lot of the conversation had nothing to do with what you guys.
That's
were talking
okay. I mean, we like it when that happens. We got another minute or two here before we got to get out of here. What were they talking
Josh
about?
Buell's probably on there saying how great he is. Right?
No, I mean,
No?
actually, Gully and Buell were kind of talking about Woodbooger's show, the championship, and trying to kind of pick my brain and Tom Woodbury's brain a little bit about how the rules are interpreted and stuff. So we were kind of talking about some of that.
Literally. They're interpreted literally. Don't cheat.
Yeah,
No, I don't agree.
Listen, I've said it before, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass about it, but I understand a lot of guys don't run as stock as we run, but when the rules say hey, it's stock unless we tell you you can change it, then that's what it means. Stock is stock the way it came. No modifications means don't modify it. I mean, I don't understand. That's the English language.
Nah,
It's pretty simple.
you say that, Steve, but for a guy that doesn't come from that, I don't agree with that.
I get the other side of it. It's just, I guess, from my side of it, it's a little frustrating.
But you shouldn't get upset about it. You should say, okay, guys are really trying to win
Not
this.
upset.
I'm
frustrated.
excited about it.
No, frustrating. Same word for me.
No, there's a
I'm
difference.
more excited about the show.
Well, when I talk to Steve about it, it seems like he does get frustrated when I picking his brain. But that's that's kind of the fun for me is when a show is that stock, very little things are going to change the outcome.
Yeah.
And you know
Here's
what
the
I'm saying?
difference, though.
Yeah,
Here's the
I do.
difference. Is John,
I mean, I haven't run one of their shows in 5 years because I haven't driven in 5 years. So you can kind of ask me my opinion on stuff, but I don't want to come off like I'm making an official statement, for one, and two, like I don't want to give you bad information. So like if I tell you just call the promoter like it's in the rules, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I just want to make sure you get the right answer.
Well, also, not to be a jerk to you, but maybe you haven't driven every different style car where you could see all the advantages by reading the rules. Like, okay,
Right.
if I bring a St. Regis, here's my positives. If I bring a Diplomat
Right.
here, and I think some guys are, because, and if I could just throw one rule out there, you did say to me that you didn't think I could change my drive shaft. I had to run a stock drive shaft. But when I
Right.
called the promoter, that's not true. I said, what if I put a different tranny in there and my tranny length's different? Can I cut my drive shaft and change it? Yes, you can. You can. So
Right.
there are some welding allowed. So guys that are trying to pick the brains, make sure you do call the promoter. Again, no offense to you, Steve, but the promoter might have a different idea for the style of car that you're running than Steve is seeing. Because I know, Steve, you're more of a GM guy, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I ran primarily GMs. I mean, listen, I've run some Fifth Avs and stuff. I've been successful in them, but I mean, that's not my strong point. I've been a GM guy primarily right from the beginning. And yes, I've run some different build styles, but like we've talked about for the last 22 episodes, this sport has grown more in the last 5 years than it did in the previous 50.
Agreed.
And the last 5
Then
years,
it was supposed to
I
grow
haven't
in
been
5 years.
behind the wheel. So there's, yes, I've been at derbies. I've watched derbies. I've helped with inspecting. But if you haven't been behind the wheel in 5 years, you got to be pretty limited on what advice you can give somebody.
For the most part, I agree, except for you have been traveling. But yes, I agree with that.
Trying to be honest. I'm not trying to, I don't want to give anybody bad advice. And most of these people asking me questions, they probably know how to build a car better than I do. So,
well,
that's all.
Now, Josh, are you going to have your Baldwin motor for that show,
Yes.
or you're going to have the Baldwin? Awesome. Good for you, buddy.
I wish. I know somebody else that's going to have one over there, though.
Good for you,
Lucky
bud.
SOB. I'm running a Magnum there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm running 360 Magnum.
Turn that thing $8
Just
grand
got it done.
all
Just
night
got my
long.
tranny done. Put them together, and I'm ready to run this.
Like when you put it
It's-
together, did
I like
the
when it's
harp
gloss
start
black.
playing? And
I'm ready to run that.
what'd you say, Steve? We lost laugh.
I like gloss black. Gloss black is mean. I mean, when you put gloss black on something, you know that guy is serious.
You know what? But when you're looking there at a block that's like all rusty and old and stuff, it's like I just want to paint it just for my own. I feel like it runs better.
What's going to be great is when your transmission gets to 600 degrees
Yeah.
and that paint starts burning off.
Oh, who
That's
cares?
going to be awesome.
I don't think so. It's high temp paint. I think it'll be all right.
Listen, you know how you said like you don't know anything that these guys know, and that like you can't give tips out to people.
Yeah.
Well, there's small tips I can give you. Like,
What?
paint is not a very good conductor of heat. It's an insulator.
Except for
Just like chrome.
of all colors that you were to have, black would dissipate heat the best. I've already looked into that. I know you're right, Steve.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
except
paint
that-
something except for
that
if
it's an
you're.
additional coating on your bare metal, which the bare metal would breathe heat a lot better.
That's saying most guys get down to bare metal. Most guys have greasy blocks, which is even a worse.
right.
For
Power wash that fucker.
Okay, well, I pressure wash mine and then I painted it.
Listen, super
gotta-
funny, very short story.
We got to go, man.
I'll be 30 seconds.
All right, go.
My dad built a car for Dent Silverdome. We lived 5 miles from the car wash. He sprayed the engine with oven cleaner, and we drove the derby car with headers out the roof, out the hood, to the car wash at 2 a.m. And then he sprayed the engine down at the car wash to clean the engine off, and the cops pulled us over. They laughed about it and escorted us home.
Let me ask you: does Baldwin paint their motors?
Come on, man.
Guard. Sorry, just want to throw it out there. They all do.
That's going to do it for us. We are out of time. Well over. We got to put a fork in this one. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here, and we're going to catch up with you here again next week. Thanks a lot.